Morning. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, but you can call me Pajama Grandma. I am wishing you a fantastic and happy day. Drinking some oxygenated or something with oxygen in the water. My mom's got me drinking. She's trying to help me to be happy and healthier every day of my life. Since I had a health challenge a few years back, my family, especially my mom, mostly my mom, is always inundating me with supplements and nutrition and ideas and things to make me healthier. And I'm actually in better health than I was in my 20s, so I am not complaining one iota. Because we need our health to supersize our businesses, right? That's one of the number one things we need. Well, today I pulled false beliefs. And I want to talk a little bit about false beliefs. Well, what the heck are beliefs? Beliefs are simply things we think often enough that they become a belief. So they're thoughts we think a lot. So a thought we think a lot, or a thought that gets linked up in our brain with some kind of strong emotion, it can be either a positive emotion or a negative emotion that causes us to attach a whole lot of meaning to a thought, and that thought can become a belief. It can be one significant emotional event that creates us to form a belief, or it might take hundreds or thousands of exposures to a thought for it to become a belief for us. That's why brainwashing works, because it's the repetition of and the emotion and I'm not even going to get into brainwashing, but it's why people can be brainwashed, because it uses the science of how our mind works to instill beliefs in us, whether we want them or not. And I just thought this right now, but most of us are brainwashed in some way, shape, or form by our environment, by the things that are going on around us, by the news, politicians, our friends and family, and the things that they say, just our surroundings. And that can cause, and I define false beliefs as beliefs that don't serve me, or a belief that doesn't serve you or that is not in your best interest is a false belief for you. Now, a belief can be true for me, but false for you. And a belief can be false for me, but true for you. I'll give you an example. If I say I suck at tennis, that's true for me because I suck at tennis. I can't see out of my left eye, and I can only see with mostly a magnifying glass out of my right eye. So that has totally screwed my tennis game. I used to play tennis in high school and college, and I tried for several years when my eyes started to be a challenge for me. And I spent years trying to play tennis with one eye. And with no depth perception, tennis is really a struggle. And I never was going to devote the time to becoming a good one-eyed tennis player. So I suck at tennis, and I just have come to terms with that. And the test for me is when I say something like I suck at tennis, do I feel positive about that or negative about that? If it made me feel bad, and for a lot of years it made me feel bad to say I suck at tennis, I can't play tennis anymore. But now it's just neutral. I have no feelings about it. I actually can laugh about it because I think of the times I've tried to play tennis since my vision's been a problem, and it's been hilarious. I mean, I would swing at the ball and I'd miss by like 3 or 4 feet, people would tell me. And I would think I was going to hit it. So, there's some things that we choose not to do because they make us feel stupid and bad and silly, and we just aren't going to put ourselves through the frustration of trying to do them. Now, so that's true for me. I suck at tennis. But if my sister were to say, I suck at tennis, that would make her feel bad somewhere in her mind or heart or body because she's an awesome tennis player and she doesn't suck at tennis. So that's an example of something that can be true for me and false for her. So it's a true belief for me, but it's a false belief for her. And that's how all our beliefs work. All of our beliefs are dependent and specific just to us. So when you notice a belief that's holding you back or doesn't feel good or true to you, what do you do about it? Say, for example, and I'm going to give another personal example. When I first started to supersize my very first business, and I really wanted to grow it, on one hand, I really wanted to grow it, and on the other hand, I noticed I was doing things to block it and not take advantage of opportunities, or I was actually sabotaging myself in some areas as I was trying to supersize and grow that business. I was holding myself back, and I figured out one day that it was a false belief that was holding me back. And the belief was that if I supersize my business, I am going to have to work harder and do more. Now, if I believe that I have to work harder and do more, and that's the only way to supersize my business, am I going to do it? Well, no, I wasn't going to do it because I was already working 7 days a week, 12 to 14 hours a day at the time on that business. And I honestly didn't, and I still had a husband and 2 small children and a life and had to semi take care of myself. I didn't know, get a couple hours sleep a night. I honestly, whenever I thought about supersizing my business, I would stress out about it because I believe I had to work harder and do more to make that happen. Totally a false belief, because every time I felt it, I felt bad and overwhelmed and stressed out. So that was an indicator to me that that was a false belief and it was holding me back. So what I had to do about it was, the first thing I had to do was notice that I was feeling that way and I was thinking that. And I had to say, how does that make me feel? Well, it didn't make me feel good. It was making me stress out and freak out and feel overwhelmed. And I wasn't making progress toward what I really wanted, which was to supersize that business. Then I had to say, well, where did that come from? And why am I feeling that way? And I could figure that out. I knew I was feeling that way because I was already working 12 to 14 hours a day, literally 7 days a week. And so I know where that came from. I don't know where the background of all the belief came from, of thinking I have to do everything myself and I had to work all these hours and do it. I don't know. It's probably the example set by people around me. My dad was a total type A workaholic personality, and so maybe I got that from him. But I needed to look at that and say, well, is that true? Well, number one, it didn't make me feel good, so I knew it wasn't true for me. Number two, is that true? Does anybody that supersized their business before, do they have to do it all themselves? Well, absolutely not. It's ridiculous. And when I shine the light of what's possible on it, it was like, okay, I don't know why I'm thinking that, but it's so ridiculous. I need to let that go. So how am I going to let that go? How am I going to let that belief go? And that's by finding examples of other people that were doing what I wanted to do. That's how I did it. And say, okay, well, and I started small. I started and I said, well, what is one thing I could let go of that might help me grow my business? And then I did that. I outsourced my accounting and day-to-day payroll and taxes and things. And that was a huge relief for me. And it freed up so much of my time that I was able to then take actions that did move me towards supersizing my business. And as I did those things, it eliminated the belief of thinking I had to do everything myself. Now, if I had outsourced something and it hadn't been successful, that might have negatively reinforced that belief that it was more work for me to supersize my business. But since it worked out, it started to chip away at and kill that belief. I started to prove to myself by taking action that that belief was ridiculous and not true. So ask yourself today, what beliefs like that might I have working in my life and in my business right now that are holding me back from supersizing my business? Because if your business isn't exactly where you want it to be, if your results aren't exactly what you want them to be in every area of your life, it's always traceable back to some sort of false belief that you're having that is blocking that or making it so that you're not progressing. So it's kind of a heavy topic for today. So tomorrow I think I'm going to share the beliefs that are necessary for you to adopt to supersize your business, or really, really helpful for you to supersize your business. Maybe the number one belief that will guarantee your success in supersizing your business. I think that's it. So that's it. Go out, make it a fantastic day, supersize your business. If you've got a false belief you're dealing with and you'd like some help with it, put it in the comments below, because it's kind of my specialty now. I love knocking out false beliefs because I have had so many of them as I've built my businesses that I've kind of gotten to be a champ at finding different ways and different tricks and strategies for dealing with those false beliefs. That's it. Have a fantastic day. See you tomorrow. Bye.